come to this happy place, welcome.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris, and you're listening to a podcast that believes in dreams, that places trust in the magic of imagination, that is always the first star to the right, and where the light in the window is always on. Join as we discuss the views from Walt's apartment.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Walt's Apartment Live. We are here. It is Wednesday night. It is the 9th of July. We've got a fun show planned. We have OG 55 in the house. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you, Sean and Sam, for having me on. It's always a good time talking parks, talking Disney with you. Appreciate you inviting me.
Of course. George is not here. George, if you've been following the OG 55 channel or Citrico Central, you know George has been having a little battle for the last month. I mean, it's been 2 months now.
Yeah.
It's almost coming to an end. So we wish him the best, getting well soon. So shout out to George. But Sam, how are you? Good to see you.
I'm all right. I'm good. Ready to get this show going.
This is weird. Wait a second. I'm sorry.
I know. I was I'm in the wrong spot.
Yeah. You know, you do things for 5 years. It's like shit. You got to keep it the same, or else it's really weird. But yeah, OG, tell us about your channel. I mean, if people are watching us, they know who you guys are. But still, tell the people that are here who you are, what you guys do, because you're way closer than we are to the park. So
yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, thank you. So content creator over here on YouTube, Orange Girl 55. We do a lot of Disney theme park podcasts, like style shows like this. But we dip into a lot of other stuff too. We'll talk a lot about studio stuff. We even get into like corporate earnings for Disney and all that, and just a lot of nerdy conversations surrounding Disney, you know, even in Universal. Sure. And entertainment in general. So, but the core of the content is mostly the Disney theme parks, and more specifically, Disneyland Resort.
Fair enough. And we're going to, you say specifically Disneyland, we're going to talk about that comment you just made right there in a little bit, because you did a show this week with George that you made some comments, and I said, I'm so excited you're coming on because I want to talk about a few of your comments. I did the same thing to George last week. He did his top 10 Disney parks rides, and I blew him up. I said, dude, we have to get together because your list, man, is shit. And
that's great.
So I was on Citrico last week, and we did just Disneyland rides. It's kind of weird though. Pirates wasn't even on his top 10, but all of a sudden it was like number 3. So I don't know. I mean,
wow.
Yeah.
It's funny this weekend, speaking of Indiana Jones, because he is rocking that kidney stone, right?
He is.
Yes.
Well, he might not be anymore. We don't know.
Right, exactly. I'm going to call him after the show, but it's kind of crazy. We went on that ride hoping it would jolt it and move it, you know? Yeah. And he said it kind of did. He said he felt it like kind of in a different spot. So I'm like, okay, cool.
Well, I know Mr. Cheesy Pop like 3 or 4 years ago did it. He went to Florida because they said if you ride Big Thunder Mountain there, it literally will knock it loose, and it did for him. He went to Florida to get rid of his kidney stone.
That's incredible. And can I just give a big shout out to him, by the way, because he is like I've met him now, I think twice in person, the most down-to-earth, chill dude ever.
Max?
Oh, yeah, great guy.
He's amazing. Yeah. He's been on the show. Every Christmas time we play his Christmas song that he does. There's no better time than Christmas at Disney. He gave me permission to play it every year. He's like a friend. I was telling George a couple of weeks ago, we talked, and I told him I'll be in the parks, at Grand California. It's like 5 years ago. And he says, oh, and he said, hey, Sean, are you going to be at Grand California? He made time, left the park, came and met me and my son and my nephew because we were just big fans. It's just the nicest guy ever.
He's so cool. We ran into him at Universal Fan Fest over there in Hill Valley. And we're standing right there, and I'm like, Max, what's up, dude? He came right over, talked for a little bit, and yeah, he's fun. He's really fun.
He's one of the best. He's an entertainer's in the house. Hello, entertainer. Sam, did I ask you how you're doing? We started talking and I was rude. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I said I'm good. I said I'm ready to get this show on the road, but we do have a lot of people hanging out today. So hi, Kelsey.
Hello, Kelsey.
Entertainer, Jen, Florida Jen. Wrong Side of the Water, Alvy, Doug, Kelsey says, no pirates? Why is
I
all
know.
the rum gone? And George says, there's another George.
There is another George.
There's two
The
Georges.
Disney Italiano. Yes, sir. He's that dude. How quick does he grow a beard?
Oh man, he must have really high testosterone. I mean, his beard. He could shave like tonight, and by morning, it's a full beard again. It's crazy.
That's absolutely wild. He's the best. Yeah. So we have to get into our biggest, our most popular segment that we have here on the Walt Department Live. She didn't do it. Did you have this week in Disney history, Sam?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's the biggest one we have. It's the biggest event that we have. This is what people basically get on for. They probably watch this then leave because this is all they want is their Disney history.
He is so dramatic.
You know,
He just likes me to feel important.
Abby is George's better half. So give our best to George, Abby, please.
There she is.
There she is. So and there's George right there. Look at George right there. Look at him. That's probably like a half a day growth on his beard right there.
Oh yeah. Easy.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Jen. Hello, Jennifer. Florida Jen, how are you? Welcome in. Sam, please give us some of this exciting news because next week's going to be the best Disney history week ever. So, go ahead.
I mean, it's the park that deserves all the love, right?
We'll get into that, right?
We'll get into it.
Yeah. Well,
Okay. Lots of movies that opened this week in Disney history. So 2006, do you guys know what movie was in 2006? Let's see if we can make this interesting.
Oh, was it live action or animated?
Live action.
I'm gonna guess some Pirates movie.
It was Pirates.
Oh, okay. I was gonna guess Enchanted, but
it was Dead Man's Chest.
Oh,
gotcha.
That's a good one.
And then also,
that's part of the ship, part of the crew, right? That's that one. Isn't that the one with the heart in the chest, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
In 1982, one of the first films.
None of you were around, so.
One of the first films from a major studio to use computer graphics extensively premiered. Do you know what movie that was in 1982?
Tron.
Was it Tron? Okay.
It was Tron.
Okay.
And then in 2021, we got something out of Marvel, and it went directly to Disney Plus.
Oh,
it released. Nope, just kidding. It released in theaters and Disney Plus at the exact same time.
Black Widow.
Yeah.
There it
Black
is.
Widow? Yeah.
Oh, and that was a whole lot of drama.
Oh God,
with Chapek and all that. Oh man,
that was so much. I mean, we talked about that for weeks on the podcast. It was such great stuff to talk about. But yeah, she won though, right?
Oh yeah, no, she won. Yeah, she absolutely won.
Yeah.
That was like months and months of just drama, and that was one of the big problems with Chapek. Actually, was that he had the business brain, but he didn't know how to smooth with Hollywood, and that did him in because Disney. It's a studio. I mean, you have to be able to know how to hang out around that Mean Girls Hollywood culture, and he just couldn't hang.
So last week we played a game where we tried to have ChatGPT convince us of certain things about the Disney company. And we asked ChatGPT to convince us that Chapek was actually a good CEO.
And they did a great job. They did a damn good job actually convincing you that he was a good CEO. They said he was the scapegoat.
Yeah.
Which I agree he was. I mean, I've said that since the beginning. But
and I don't think he was as bad as a lot of. I don't think he was as bad as he was portrayed necessarily. You know,
Right.
He was portrayed as like just all evil, one-dimensional bad guy who wanted to kill Disney and stuff. And I don't think he was that. I mean, honestly, some of the stuff that he's even done, Bob Iger came on and kept it. You know, so he wasn't completely terrible, but he just wasn't a good fit. If he was running a company like some insurance company like Geico or like Pepsi or something, he'd probably be great. But for Disney, you just got to be a different kind of. It's a whole different beast.
Kelsey said she made it convince me that Tinkerbell was actually a princess.
She did. I was at the gym on the treadmill, and she's like, I want to know. So I screenshot it and sent it to her. It was funny. That's what we do when I'm at the gym, apparently, working out really hard.
Yeah, ChatGPT. I've learned a lot about that just this last week. That's just crazy. I mean,
can we talk about?
We did a deep dive into each one of us, and it says that I'm like this. I said, tell me about Sean from Walt's Apartment Podcast, and Sean's the creator and co-host of this dynamic blah blah. I'm like, what? It sounded like a movie script. I was like so excited. I was like, who can I send this to?
So where does it get the information? Like, is it just gets it off of like your search history, or is it off of like the internet in general? How does that work?
Internet in general. Because then I did a deep dive. I said, I did like an in-depth review of Walt's Apartment podcast, and it actually broke down like who we were before, when we switched, why we switched.
Like it actually listens to the episodes.
Yeah, and it said Sean was. It even said Sean was on an episode of this.
Me.
Yeah, it absolutely wild.
That's crazy. That is wild to me. I'm telling you, AI is going to change the world. I mean, it already has, but I mean, in 10, 15 years from now, I can't even imagine what it's going to be like.
I honestly was like struggling to come up with topics for the show tonight, and I'm like, I'm gonna check and see. And I put in there, I said, give me some Disney news and rumors, and it just gave me like this huge list of current Disney news and all this stuff, and it's talks about all the parks, and it's shit's
that's
crazy.
Wild.
Yeah.
If anybody was wondering, ChatGPT says I'm amazing, just in case you were wondering.
And not so many words, but I mean, yeah, it did say, yeah, it was just weird. I'm like, damn, I'm gonna go present this to someone and like get funding for this because it's so good. But it was fun. But let's get into some.
Wait, we're not done. Yes,
I know. Okay. Let's get into some more history.
So, one of my favorite childhood movies, even though it came out before I was born, 1987. Any guesses? It was animated.
87.
Mm-hmm.
Oliver and Company.
I will tell you, it has to do with appliances, household appliances.
Brave Little Toaster.
Brave Little Toaster.
Oh my gosh.
So good.
Oh my gosh. My daughter watched that show constantly. Yeah, just over and over and over.
Yeah, I used to actually intern at the animation studio that made that cartoon and the sequel. So it's a studio called Hyperion, and they were based out of Glendale. Mm-hmm. And when I was a kid, I was like 16 or 17. My mom's friend was in the business, and so I got in through that, right? But I interned for them for maybe a few months. But at that time, they were working on Brave Little Toaster Goes to Mars. So I was like the intern, so I just Xeroxed things all day long. Mm-hmm. That was my job, So, but it was pretty cool, and that was a cool little studio. I don't even know if they're still around anymore. They did that. They did Bebe's Kids. They did some Happily Ever After thing for HBO, and Life with Louie. But I don't know. I think the studio went under. I don't think it's around anymore, sadly.
Yeah. I've got one more movie and then some other parks news. But 2022, Marvel.
2022 Marvel would be Endgame. No.
Quantum Mania.
22? 22. Captain Marvel.
No.
Oh, Ragnarok.
Ragnarok was 2017.
The Marvels.
Love and Thunder.
Oh, Love and Thunder. Okay.
You had the wrong Thor, but it's okay. Okay. 2005. A joint statement from the Walt Disney Company and Roy E. Disney and Stanley P. Gold announced that they agreed to put aside their differences. And Roy E. Disney rejoined the company as a consultant with the title of Director Emeritus.
Okay.
So
that was a big deal back then. I remember that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was huge. That was huge.
In 2009, they had the groundbreaking ceremony for DCA. John Lasseter was pretty much there for all of that.
Yes, he was. That was John Lasseter's world in the beginning. Yeah.
Well, what's going to happen? What's going to happen with the new Cars Land and Magic Kingdom without John Lasseter? I'm curious about that. I'm sure it'll be great, but this is the first Cars Land we're getting without him around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's all this stuff happening right now is just so crazy. It's a good time to be a Disney fan for sure, to see everything, especially at Disneyland Resort.
Yes,
because but it's all DCA. Actually, it's actually DCA coming, but we'll get into that. So
we're not there yet.
We're not there yet.
We're not there yet. So I didn't know this was something that happened 4 times a year since 1985, but in 1998. Walt Disney World auctioned off a limousine, 2 costume sewing machines, a sofa from the Empress Lily riverboat, and a 4-foot-tall beer stein. So apparently they used to have auctions 4 times a year at Walt Disney World to unload items that they no longer wanted.
Interesting. Okay. I did not know that.
And they don't do that anymore. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And then my last one is 1999. At Walt Disney World's Discovery Island, closed 25 years after it opened. So,
R.I.P.
Yeah. So basically, what happened there?
That's weird.
For anybody,
a lot of water things closing at Walt Disney World in the same week. That's interesting. We'll talk about that too. But yeah.
Well, to be fair,
okay.
it was a zoo essentially, and when they opened Animal Kingdom.
That's fair. I mean, there's no point.
They go from 11 acres to 500 acres.
Yeah.
But it was the second oldest attraction for Central Florida for Disney. And it was the first time the company had closed a ticketed attraction.
Okay. You know, it's funny. So Entertainer says he has one. So Entertainer, hit us with what you got real quick.
He's got Tarzan closed on Broadway in 2007 due to declining ticket sales.
R.I.P. BB's Kids is a classic. Rest in peace, Robin Harris. All right. I roll. Okay. So one thing I think was very interesting, like Disneyland proper was about 55 acres or something like that when it first opened.
Yeah.
And Animal Kingdom is 500 acres. So you'd have one theme park that's 10 times the size of Disneyland, which blows my mind. But yes, I understand it's like a safari. I've never even been there, but it looks like it's so cool.
Oh, that's my favorite Disney World park. That place is amazing. I love Animal Kingdom.
A lot of people have said that one in Epcot. Everyone says that those are their favorite.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I was 14 or 15. We had the choice to go to Disney World or
Walt Disney World.
Walt Disney World. I'm sorry, or Epcot. At the time, I didn't know.
So you mean Magic Kingdom?
Yes.
Okay.
Magic Kingdom. So I went. I saw do Magic Kingdom, and I went, and I'm like, it's just a big Disneyland. That's just how I took it. It's just a bigger Disneyland. That's with like wider walkways, and it didn't seem as roomy to me and as cozy. And it's because they put all the love into the main park.
Yeah. They did.
But anyway, we're going to come back with a bunch of like theme park topics. I'm going to pull from my conversation with George last week and your guys' conversation the other night. But I want to hear from Getaway today. We'll come back and then we will get into some topics.
It's been a great show so far, but who's ready for an ad break? Did you know that the best way to keep our shows going is by supporting our sponsors? So let's get to know more about the travel experts at Getaway today. They've been helping to make vacation dreams come true since 1990. And whether you want to visit the happiest place on earth or to travel to Orlando for a most epic adventure, they are there to help. Are you trying to find out which hotel is your best option or which theme park tickets will work best for your visit? Are you concerned that you might need a last-minute change? No worries. Their travel experts will help you out. Looking to book a cruise but don't know where to start? Hey, they can help with that too. They will find the perfect cruise for your vacation, whether it's your first time or you're a well-seasoned cruiser. When you book your cruise with one of the Getaway Today experts, you will have a dedicated agent to help you every step of the way. They take care of the details so you can have the most fun. Getaway Today offers peace of mind travel, allowing you to cancel or make changes up to 72 hours before your trip. You will always have the most up-to-date vacation information, both pre-arrival and upon welcome. Getaway Today guarantees the best prices, with no hidden fees, and every time you book through Getaway Today, they will donate a portion back to a charitable organization in your area. And so far, over $4.5 million have been donated. So go ahead and dial 1-855-GETAWAY, that's 1-855-438-2929, and be sure to tell them that Walt's Apartment sent you. Or just click the link in our show notes for more information and the best deals to start your Disney, Universal Studios, or cruise vacation planning. What I'm trying to say is, if you like to travel, check out Getaway Today. Alright, so now it's time to get back to enjoying that view from Walt's apartment. let's get back to the show.
We love Getaway Today. Speaking of Getaway Today, next Wednesday night on July 16th, one day before the park celebrates its 70th anniversary, Kim, the vice president of Getaway Today, will be on here with us next week because she was able to get invited to the cast preview of Walt's A Magical Life on the 15th. So she will be going and she will be here reporting to us her honest thoughts and opinions. And that's the talk of everything right now is this animatronic. We've talked about it for probably 6 months, and it's like just the talk of everything. They did release the poster, which is just, I need to be there right away. This is the poster that they put out there. It's
amazing.
It's just, it's that old picture of Walt standing up against the door, and it just says, I can barely read it on the screen. Let me make the screen bigger here. It says Disneyland Opera House presents Walt Disney Magical Life on stage and on screen. Don't miss this dramatic presentation on stage and screen, which I think is just mind-blowing to read that. Don't miss this dramatic presentation of the Walt Disney story.
That's incredible. This it has so much, but this could be such an emotional moment if if this animatronic looks like him, like to a T. I mean, this is going to be so surreal to have him up there.
Oh God, it's some people are saying I don't want just a couple of minutes. I'm like, I'll take 30 seconds. I don't care if it's going to be just like the Lincoln show, which he talks. They do a big story. Then at the end, he gets up out of his chair and speaks to you, and it's just like that gives me chills every time I see that. And I've seen it probably 50 times. I can't imagine Walt Disney stand up and talking to me. Come on.
Oh, and they made the right decision. They're not doing any AI like new script thing.
Yeah.
They're utilizing real audio from when he was alive, which is fantastic. That's what they should be doing.
I'm curious what they're going to use. I'm curious what like wording. Are they just going to put a bunch of yes, George, what's up, George? We're getting a West Coast version of One Man's Dream tied with the animatronic. Yes, we are. That's exactly what it is. It is One Man's Dream before.
Yeah.
With
Yeah, which I think it's gonna be cool. I mean, we'll see. I was telling George though on OGVD Vive, like, I mean, and this is one of those things where like it could be either the most amazing thing, or if they miss the boat with the animatronic and it doesn't quite look like him, it's kind of wonky looking. It could be a big miss because this is a big deal. This is Walt Disney.
It is. But hopefully it never does. The Mr. What is it? Tom Morrow, is that his name? And what paging Mr. Morrow? What's the guy's name over there in Florida? The guy that breaks sometime and like he does like this and his hand starts going like that. If that happens to Walt, and please don't ever happen to Walt. Please.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, that would just be such a optic disaster, like for the company and just for this thing has to work and really. And if it's not working properly, then don't open the show. Like either it has to work or you do Lincoln only then or something. And
for sure. Well, they put the money into it. They put the time into it. They were supposed to start in May, and it's coming out next week. I can't wait to hear from Kim her thoughts on it. I can't wait to see this. This is not one I'll sit and wait. Oh, I got to wait to see it in person. No, I will want to see this the minute someone shares something of this. I want to see it because I'm curious. And are you guys going to get down there you guys are going down next weekend, right?
Yeah, we're gonna be down there. I'm gonna be down there for the 17th. Okay. I think George is gonna be down there for a couple days more than me, but I'll be down there for the 17th. I couldn't get the time off of work, so unfortunately, but I'll be there for 17 for sure.
Yeah, that's wild. So and then there's like topics today are like, oh, what are they gonna do? Are they gonna do hats? I know. I guess they did like ears, like for the 60th and the 50th. Are they gonna do? They did cupcakes for the 65th. I remember that, but that was in the middle of COVID. So I'm jealous of all of you that get to go. I'm very jealous that you guys are but it's gonna be a blast.
Yeah.
So, Sam, what are your thoughts? One more time on the animatronic, because next week we're gonna know already. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let me know what you think.
I'm excited. I've said I'm excited from the beginning. They have to do it right, and I think they know they have to do it right. Because there are going to be a lot of pissed off people if they don't.
It's going to be So I want to dive into some park news. OG and George. Well, they announced. I'm not taking from Extra Magic Hour, but I'm taking a little bit from them. But they did announce that the Matterhorn, which a couple of months ago went down, and everyone was saying it's not coming back. The rumors were it was not going to come back. They didn't think it was going to, because according to Bricky, he said part of the facade again fell onto the track, and that's what initially, because this wasn't a scheduled like refurb, it just happened overnight, like it just closed. Like knew this, but so. And it's happened a few times where rock work has fallen off the side onto the track. Luckily, it's been every time it's been overnight, so that we're very lucky. Which is kind of crazy that since that track's moving all day, it doesn't do it during the day. But this happens.
That is weird.
But rumors had it that how long will the Matterhorn last? George, I think we talked last week on his show. He asked me about it. He said, is it something we were talking about? Would you rather just have them take it out and rebuild something else? And no, I mean, I don't know if you could rebuild the Matterhorn. You can't, because no one else has a Matterhorn. The Matterhorn is an icon. A Matterhorn is driving down the I-5 and seeing it off. When I was younger, you could see it off to the right before you get off that Cattell exit. You got all excited. That's what you saw was the Matterhorn. Bob Gurr built it. I mean, think about this. He built it in 1959 or something like that.
59.
It's still going strong, and the dude had to learn trigonometry to make the thing work.
Oh, that's wild.
He'll tell you how hard it was. Just watch Imagineering story. I mean, he didn't know trigonometry. He didn't know how to build a roller coaster. He only built cars before that. And Walt's like, I want a sled inside this mountain, make it happen. But I'm shocked it's still working, and that kudos to Disney for being able to keep continuing to retrofit it to where they're still meeting code, because obviously there's got to be some kind of code that you have to meet. But July 24th, it comes back. That was I talked way too much about that. July 24th, Matterhorn comes back. Sam's never been to Disneyland, but I'll ask you, OG, and you even said on your show, do you ever see in your future, do you see a Disneyland without the Matterhorn?
Here's the issue with the Matterhorn. It's that track. And it's been problematic for a really, 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 really long time. So I don't think, I said on my show, I don't think they're ever going to get rid of it where they're just going to shut it down and we're going to have an empty mountain. I think that's very unlikely, right? But what I think is maybe more likely is if there is a situation where they have to gut the mountain and rebuild this track. Mm-hmm. If they're going to have to do some heavy investment, like something along those lines for this attraction, I could see Disney being like, well, if we're going to go in there and spend all these millions of dollars to basically rebuild the inside of this mountain with the new track, I could see Disney saying, you know what, let's go ahead and retheme it. Now, I know it's not popular, but I could see that happening because they are so into that into the IP, and so I can see that happening. But I think as an attraction, I think we're safe. I think the retheme thing is even kind of like a long shot per se.
I agree with you.
Yeah, but it's more likely probably than just shutting it down. Hopefully they can figure something out to just keep it the Matterhorn and just make that track more reliable, make the building, the structure around it more reliable. And we keep it because I said in the video, you have the castle, you have the Small World facade, and you have the Matterhorn. I mean, it is it's part of that Disneyland iconography, and you can't get rid of it.
No, and then I'd have to get a new tattoo.
Yeah, you would.
That would be just like, I have the Matterhorn tattooed on my arm as well, and it's like, what would I do? I mean, it'd be like a classic, and that'd be weird. Do you think they could redo the Matterhorn track like they are for Big Thunder Mountain and Magic Kingdom?
I mean, that's essentially, that's what they would have to do. And I would hope that they wouldn't add an IP to it, but
yeah, me too.
It's a little different because of the way it's built. Because I mean, if you ever ride the Matterhorn, it literally is part of that structure. I'm like, when you look at the track, that's why it's so rough, because it's literally on concrete. So they'd have to remove everything and completely start over and twist. It would take years to twist all those tracks. And how do you get them in there without taking the mountain apart? I don't even know how you could do it to actually replace all the track.
Well, yeah, and then you were saying that you have the issue with the rock work coming off.
Yeah,
like a big part of that is probably because it's all connected and it's constantly vibrating and shaking.
Yeah.
They got to figure something out.
The thing I worry about, and I hope that something doesn't happen to where someone actually gets hurt by something falling, and then they're going to have to close it, and that'd be a terrible way for that ride to close, is by someone getting hurt because of it. Which I'm not wishing that, but I'm just so shocked every time I've heard of 3 different times where rock work has fallen off the side, and it's like, how is this not happening during the day? And because the Matterhorn is so close to people too. It's like right in the middle of everything. You can't. It's just wild. And I still wish the Skyway went through it. It was the coolest thing in the world when the Skyway went through it. But don't jump off Skyways, kids. That's why it's not there anymore. So it's unfortunate.
Ouch.
But okay. So Matterhorn, it's coming back. I'm glad to be back for the 70th. I'm very excited. I want to hop over to Walt Disney World. Big news this past couple of days. I've never been there, so I can't appreciate this like some people can. People are very upset that the Liberty Bell Dave from Fresh Bake actually got to ride the very last ride. He got to go on it. He got some special wristband. It was on the last River Bell. Is it River Bell? I'm sorry, Liberty Bell. Liberty Bell. Got to ride the last ride on I think it was Monday or Sunday. But is this that big? I mean, how big is that space, Sam and OG? I've only been there. I don't even remember it when I was there. So, I
mean, if we're gonna get a new land, they need the space. Like,
are you okay with that? You're a Walt Disney World person. Are you okay with them getting rid of all that for a new land?
I'm gonna say yes, because there were not a lot of people who still use the island anyways.
Well, there was this past couple of weeks. I mean,
because of course now there's interest because it's going away, but like the last couple of years there hasn't been. But it's a huge space, and things have to change. Yes, it's getting rid of like iconic things in the park that people love, but they don't know that they could love the new land if they give it a shot too.
Sure.
I mean. You have to have the space to build. So you're going to
But don't they have all this extra space because it's the size of San Francisco supposedly? Can't they just like add on to the back or something?
No, they can now because a permit just came up where they could like the zoning law or whatever just allowed them to reapply for permits so that they could expand and have a 5th, possibly 6th and 7th gate. But as far as just adding on to the Magic Kingdom, their hands are pretty tied.
Oh, really? I don't know the space.
But here's the thing: is like it's a huge park, and there's space, but something's got to go somewhere. Yeah. So if you don't want something to be taken away, make sure you're going to it every single time you're in the parks. And if you're not using it, goodbye. Yeah, you've got to get rid of the least popular attractions.
Yeah, that's true. And another thing too, where I think that what's really saved Disneyland's Rivers of America is how, and this sounds really gross, but it's how business is. It's so heavily monetized. You have Fantasmic on our river and those dining packages and all that stuff. And so Disney is more invested in that. They don't want that gravy train to end, right? Where Walt Disney World, their Fantasmic doesn't occur on the Rivers of America. They don't have that same dynamic with that. Right. So it was more expendable. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. And plus I heard they were actually having some issues, like some technical issues with the water systems and everything. And they probably crunched the numbers and realized, it's going to cost this much to just completely fix it.
They were going to have to dredge it all anyways, is what I heard.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just to fix it.
Water's expensive. I mean, like we were talking, I don't remember when it was, but at Disneyland, the submarine is one of the most expensive rides to operate because it's all underwater, and water fucks everything up for sure. But it does. I mean, it's expensive to fix, and it's harder to work on it. And again, like I said, I'm not a Walt Disney World person. I'm hoping to go there someday, but I'm sorry that you're losing your Tom Sawyer Island. I'm sorry that the boat looks cool. The boat looked just like the Mark Twain almost. So, what do they do with that boat?
That's another thing. I mean, they got countless resorts. Maybe they can park it somewhere. Like, it would be a sin for them to not save that boat. They have to save it.
Isn't there? Because again, not knowing that area at all, isn't there like a lake? Isn't the park like in the middle of a lake, or the lakes around?
Bay Lake.
I saw someone say drop the Liberty Bell in that lake and let people ride around it, like do like dining packages on it.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
But it rides on a track, so I don't think you really could. It's not like a normal boat. So
right, yeah, it'd have to be like
But the boat looks cool. It looked like their Tom Sawyer island was a lot bigger than the one at Disneyland. It looked like that space was huge where all that stuff was.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're getting Cars Land over there, and they're also getting on the back end of that, they're getting that Villains Land too. So it's a good amount of land for sure.
And what does this do to their big? Isn't it big? Their Big Thunder Mountain, is that the one that's on an island? That's not that one. That's Paris, right?
That's Paris. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Big Thunder is not too far from this as well. And so that whole Frontierland area is now. I think they kind of reposition. It's still Frontierland, but I think Josh D'Amaro was saying it's kind of now the American Wilderness.
Yeah,
or something like that. So that's an interesting kind of angle, So we'll see.
We did reimagine it on Imagine That. So you guys want to check out that episode of Frontierland, go ahead and listen to Imagine That.
There it is.
Yes, please.
Shameless plug.
shameless plug for Imagine That. Then okay, so rest in peace to Tom Sawyer Island and Liberty Bell and all that fun stuff. Now, OG, you made a comment on your show just 2 days ago.
Yeah.
You said you're a Disneyland guy. You even said I'm a Disneyland guy and Disneyland's your park. But you said Disneyland gets too much love. And it gets all the love and is favored.
Yeah.
I ask you, what is wrong with that?
Okay, so here is my issue. I want Disneyland to get a lot of love. I want them to do what they're doing with Disneyland. My issue is I don't want them to stop. I don't want them to not care about Disneyland, right? What I was suggesting really on the video was I just want them to have that same level of care for DCA. And the reasoning behind that is you literally have this secondary park that sits feet away from Disneyland. So to have this other park sitting really literally in the shadow of Walt's original park and just not the same level of care being put into it, I don't really understand that mindset. It's like having a gorgeous house, but then letting your lawn grow and not taking care of your lawn and be like, well, it's not my house. It's over here. Who cares? It's all part of it though. You know what I'm saying? Right. So for me, it's like DCA matters. It's on the same land that Walt's Park is sitting on. Mm-hmm. Japan, they get it. They get it. Their secondary park is they put the same love into that secondary park as the original. You know what I'm saying? And that's really what I want. I don't want them to take love away from Disneyland. I just want them to care as much with DCA. Like, for example, and we'll see. The jury's still out on this, but we'll see. But when they added Galaxy's Edge to Disneyland, they took a lot of care and planning to make sure it worked well with the river. They shortened the river, but they added it. They added the train around it. We got the left turn, I think it was, right? Mm-hmm. And all that stuff. They really integrated.
First time ever. They made a big deal about the left.
First time ever. It was awesome.
A train turned left. It's the biggest thing in the world. I was like, what?
It was crazy, right? And so it was nice to see them take that much care to kind of make sure it integrated into the park that well.
Yeah.
What I'm worried about is with Avatar going into DCA, are they going to put that kind of same level of care? I think they should. I mean, like I said, this park is just feet away from Walt's Park. You got to put that love in. And I just feel like over and over again, we don't really get that love. For example, San Francisco, I love that area. I think it's really cute. I love the J-pop stuff. I was in there just a few days ago. It's fun. But you would never see something like that at Disneyland. They would never do that kind of half attempt over there. So I just want the same quality. That's all I'm asking. You know what I'm saying?
It's going to be hard without Joe Rohde on it.
Yeah.
Entertainer has a question for you, OG. Are you looking forward to Avatar theme land coming to Disney California?
I am actually. I am looking forward to it. My thing with the Avatar land is I have a lot of questions about it. How is it going to be integrated into the bigger park? I think the land itself will be really well done just because it's James Cameron. He's a stickler for that quality. I think they're going to go all in on it, and we're going to get nighttime Pandora every night. That's going to be awesome. I'm just concerned because we're putting it in Hollywoodland or a part of Hollywoodland.
Still don't.
It's weird, right? So how is that going to those transitionary moments? You're going to go down Hollywood Boulevard, and then to your left, you're going to have all this rock work. It's going to be kind of weird. If they can work it,
I liked Bricky's thought with the with the transition into it, with the Matterhorn, with the monorail going through rocks. You don't see it.
Yeah,
I like it. I like his idea of not being right up in your face, but being back more in that space. So to where you walk into it, But
100%. Another thing we also have to remember is at D23 they said that this Avatar land is based on the next, I think, 3 movies.
Right.
So we're looking at this, we're like really blind. We're walking we're going through the dark right now because we don't know what those movies are about.
Mm-hmm.
There might be an Earth element in one of these movies that is going to be utilized in this new land somehow. That doesn't make sense to us because we don't know what the storyline is, but it will when the movies come out. So there's a lot of that too.
Everyone calls it a Pandora. Pandora's coming to. No one said Pandora is coming to DCA. They said that an Avatar experience is coming.
Yeah.
An Avatar experience. That could mean anything. That's just the name of the movie. It could be called something completely different by the time it opens.
And the concept art already looks more like Way of Water than what we have in Florida anyways.
Yeah. Completely. Yeah. It just looks so massive. I just can't put my head around it. Like that space, that Monsters Inc., Hollywood Studios area.
Yeah.
And then there is that busload unload area behind it that they're going to utilize. And that's like several acres added to it. I just can't imagine it. And it's just so weird to me.
I don't get it either. And I've watched all of your guys' stuff because you and George probably talk about this more than almost any show that I watch, which is good because you guys are invested in this. Then you get Bricky's opinion and he comes in and brings his engineering mind into it and says, hey, what about this, and this? It's just crazy. So I was just joking with you about the Disneyland thing. I just wanted to but I completely understand where you're coming from. Disneyland is always going to be the best. That's just and they're gonna make this stuff. I mean, yeah. Question for you that George asked me last week. I'm going to ask both of you and Sam. Sam, you've never been to Disneyland, so I'll ask you first. But Disneyland is basically packed to the gills right now to where you can't add anything else. The only way to get anything new in Disneyland proper would be to start removing classic attractions or IPs or something like that. How would you feel about that? How would you feel if, I'm going to say OG for a second because you've actually seen this stuff, but if they told you they're going to remove this whole, they're going to remove Space Mountain because they got a better idea, or they're going to remove the Matterhorn because they have a better idea. Are you okay with that, or should it stay like it is as a tribute to Walt and to be in the first park? Should it stay a classic park like it is?
So Walt never wanted the park to be a tribute to him.
It's not.
But you just said as a tribute to Walt, should it stay the same?
Okay, well,
Walt would have wanted things to change if there were better things that could go in those places. And I know that Disneyland faithfuls, like I just said, about Tom Sawyer Island and the riverboat, if there's a space that can be used better, I'm okay with change, but they got to make sure they do it right.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I do think change is important. I think that there has to be some. It's tough though. It's tough because it's definitely a tightrope that Disney has to walk with this. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to embrace change because the park was built on that idea of change and ever evolving. But at the same time, you don't want to be willy-nilly with that where you're just taking stuff out. You know what I'm saying? So it's a tough one to it's a tough needle to thread. For me personally, in terms of what we have right now in the actual park, I would be fine if they got rid of the motorboat area and that Autopia. And even maybe the subs. I think that's probably the most, that's pretty, I think that area is a lot of real estate, especially Autopia.
It makes
huge
sense.
amount.
It makes sense for that area to be used by something for sure.
Yeah. So, we'll see. We have that. They can tap into theoretically. They also have a lot of Tomorrowland stuff. Launch Bay and all that stuff. They can really, do we really even need Star Tours now?
No.
For me, the best part of Star Tours was Rex, and now he's got a new job at the bar. So we're fine. So there's room there's stuff they can kind of work and maneuver. We'll see. But here's the other thing too. That Tomorrowland, that motorboat area, the Utopia, all that stuff, you would have to reroute the monorail though. It's that spaghetti bowl monorail stuff. You can't build anything in there. It's too tied up.
So one more question, then we'll take our break and come back. You can save 3 things at Disneyland proper. 3 attractions. That's all you can save. What are they?
Pirates.
People in the chat, please answer too. Top 3 things that you would save in Disneyland.
So Pirates.
Absolutely, without a question.
Haunted Mansion.
Yes. And the third one is a lot harder question. There's a lot of different things.
It's
tough.
tough.
I think those first 2, not a question.
No question.
You don't touch those 2. Everything else? Is everything else free game?
Yeah, I would say I'm gonna go. Okay, so we got Pirates and Haunted.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably gonna say Indy, because that's kind of like, for me, Indy is really like even though it's an aging attraction at this point, it still feels new. I feel Indy is like that next gen Pirates kind of immersive thing, right? I would hate to lose that. So I think that would be my third one. But it's tough though, because I don't want to lose Tiki Room now.
So I would have said one thing different, my third choice, and I would have went with what Entertainer said here. I would have went with the teacups, because when all little kids think of Disney,
I'd light the match on that thing. I'd help them light the match on that one.
I remember every ad for Disney growing up.
Yeah,
those damn teacups were in every ad.
That's true.
Entertainer's list is, he says Snow White's, Peter Pan, and Magic. I'm sorry, I don't agree with his list. I agree with Lewis's list exactly. Big Thunder, Pirates, and Haunted Mansion are the 3 I would keep. Without a question. Just keep that whole area over there would be just fine with me. Just that whole space where those 3 attractions are, because they're right next to each other. Yeah, Lewis says, what? Indy? Why?
Because Indy is one of those things where it was like, it's such a celebration of like what Walt sort of started. Mm-hmm. And it was like what the next generation of Imagineers were able to do with Walt's model, but what Tony Baxter goated, and what Tony Baxter did with that attraction. I just think it's a marvel of Imagineering, and I would hate to lose that. So we'll have 2 classic ones, Pirates and Haunted, but then I think Indy of the newer generation, I would want to save that. So.
Okay. Let's do this. I always worry about not having conversation stuff to talk about, and it always works out. Let's do this. Let's hear from Sunken City Design. Come back and hit a couple more topics. Then we'll hear from Where in the Park, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Sound good?
Sounds good.
We'll be right back.
Sunken City Designs brings you art. Do you like art? I know I do. How about art based on Disney characters, like Mickey Mouse and the Oyster Thief? You know, that's actually from Alice in Wonderland, the best princess movie ever made. Also, we have some dwarfs that have their heads ripped off sometimes. Why? I don't know. It's because it's Sunken City Design. So go there, sunkencitydesign.com. Get yourself some great merchandise. You got posters and, I believe, clothes. Who knows? I got a cup from there, and it's fantastic. Do you like cups? Do you ever use those? I do. Go for it. Oh yeah, sweatshirts. Can't forget about those. If you're ever cold, get yourself a sweatshirt from sunkencitydesign.com. Also, WALL-E. You know, that's the best movie ever made. Second only to Alice in Wonderland. All right, if you also like Walt's Apartment, they have merch for that too. Where? sunkencitydesign.com. Hopefully you've already loaded up that site and you're looking at it and you have some items in your cart. Go ahead and check out as soon as you can, because the show's about to come back on. All right, everybody, we appreciate you.
We do appreciate you. We appreciate Louis from Sunken City Design, our sponsor and our friend. And just stick around for the end of the month. We're going to have some fun with Louis at the end of the month, and we'll explain why later on. But Sunken City's awesome. Check it out. And do you like Walt's Apartment merch? They got that too. So let's go. Get you some. I was trying to find topics, and I was like looking on Disney Insider, because I get most of the stuff from them. And then now Chat GPT is going to be like my new best friend to help me get these shows done. But Julian McMahon passed away, which I thought was very, very. He was in Fantastic Four. He was also in Nip Tuck, which was just one of the most wild freaking shows.
Charmed.
Oh man. I didn't even know where else to go with that. I wanted to mention that. That's just unfortunate.
Well,
There's a lot of controversy right now surrounding his death, and it's nothing.
I didn't even know he was sick.
He had a very private battle with cancer.
That's wild.
And fans are losing their ever-loving mind right now, and like using AI to create tributes to him, and it's getting really weird. And the family's like, "No, thank you." And
he was way too young. He was only like in his mid-50s, I think, wasn't he?
Like 54. I'm 51. I'm like, holy crap! It's like 54, 55. It's like, dang, And I just had to mention that. I didn't even know where else to go with that. I just like, damn, I watched Nip Tuck like crazy. That dude is one of the most crazy actors too. I mean, he's so good. I mean, he wasn't he Dr. Doom? He became Dr. Doom in the Fantastic Four, right? Like towards the end or something of the movie.
I believe.
I believe.
I don't remember.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't even have anything else to say about. Loved him on Charmed. Charmed. That was a good show. Yeah, I just wanted to. Guys, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, just it's tragic, and it was a very huge surprise and way too young. It breaks my heart to see stuff like that,
And respect the family's wishes.
Yeah, please.
Don't be weird. Give them time to grieve. Obviously, everybody's going to want to, do their social media tributes and stuff, but don't use AI and make it weird.
No.
Yeah, Abby said, he was Dr. Doom.
He was okay. Yeah. I don't have another topic. I was just going to basically we're going to do our last ad, and then I want to come back on. We have 10 people watching right now. If you want to throw us some questions, we'll answer a few questions.
Sure.
Learn, and then we can go from there. If you guys have any questions, there's not a lot of news right now. It's you got Fantastic Four coming out in a couple weeks.
Entertainer says it's eerie that he died on the 20th anniversary of the first Fantastic Four movie, and just before the 2025 reboot happened.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy. So I know we don't usually do commercials this closely to each other, but I just want to play We're in the Park. We'll come back. We'll talk a little bit more, share our thoughts, share our whatevers, and let's bring it home. Here we go. We're in the park.
Hey fam, what scavenger hunt are you doing?
Well, we are doing We're in the Park.
Do you guys know We're in the Park? Because we do.
We do. So how you play this is that they give you a deck of cards with an image on it, and you get to look around and see where in the park that is.
And they're fun. So if you like to find stuff, this is what you need to do.
The amazing game. We're in the park right here.
If you're a seasoned Disney park goers, as we are, it's a fun, challenging even for the hardcore Disney parks fan.
We have played the Where in the Park games that we felt like, we got
still
this
a challenge.
Oh no, yeah, still a challenge, a fun challenge though, not an impossible challenge.
They get
really close to details, and you're like, I have never even seen that. I don't even know.
We're in the park. Have I seen that?
The great thing about these is that they're not in attractions and they're out in the open places. It's meant for families to play.
Besides people who've been there a lot, it's fun for people that are new to the parks as well, because you catch some of those details that you would probably miss when you're first going.
So there's images that you are finding on one side of the card, and then the other has the hint and the answer that you can reveal if you choose to.
Before it was just the hint and the answer, but now if you really want the land,
it'll tell you
they'll give you the land for an extra hint. You guys can take as long as you wish without the hint.
Yeah.
Without the hint, it's hard.
But that's what makes it fun.
But they do not just do Disney parks, obviously. What other parks do you guys actually cover?
Universal and all that good stuff.
East Coast, West Coast, and they're continuing to expand even more after that.
Check them out, we'reinthepark.com, if you need to get some game packs. They are so much fun.
We appreciate We're in the Park.
They're awesome.
We love that.
Amanda.
Get you some We're in the Park today.
Hell yeah.
Use promo code Walt's APT Podcast to save 10% at we'reinthepark.com.
Yes. And to please do it. We're in the Park is great. We love them. We're in the Park. Kevin and Amanda have become such a huge integral part of our network, with basically helping run, or imagine that, our Imagineering deep dive show, which is just great. I know one thing I want to bring up. You notice that we're kind of a light crew tonight. Joey's not here. Joey is not here because Joey and Courtney, today is their 2-year anniversary of them dating. They are the first couple. We call them the first WAP couple. that I was their wingman. Joey one night said, "Hey, I really like this Courtney girl." I'm like, "Okay, cool." I go, "You want me to message her?" And he goes, "Yeah." So I'm, "Hey, Courtney, if I knew someone that liked you, would you want to know?" I felt like I felt like I was back in high school. Oh my gosh, yes, I would totally know. Who is it? I'm not going to tell you yet. Can I guess? It was the most fun conversation. It's like 11 o'clock at night one night too. I basically went on Facebook Messenger, said, "Joey, Courtney, Joey, have at it," and I just exited the chat. But then 2 years later, they're going on a cruise this week to celebrate their 2-year anniversary. So huge shout out to Courtney and Joey for 2 years being together. Congratulations.
Well, and isn't it crazy? We were talking about Walt Disney earlier on in the show, right? Isn't it crazy? Like even like us three right today, like the three of us would never know each other if it wasn't for Walt. Like, they would have never met. They wouldn't be having their 2-year anniversary if not for Walt. Like all this stuff happens. The impact he's had on this world. A dude born in 1901. It's crazy.
Sean, imagine how like boring your life would be.
Oh my God,
it would be
crazy.
Quiet.
I've done this for 5 years. What have I done these last 5 years? Talk about Universal.
We probably would be, yeah. But that's even
have 6-hour-long car rides with me.
Oh shit! Thank you, Walt. But no, I mean, yeah, I'm glad. I don't know what else to say. You bring that back like that, OG. That's true. In a movie news, I heard Night at the Museum getting rebooted. Stories? I have only seen that once. Entertainer. I don't really know who they would bring back.
No pink guy pillows.
No pink guy pillow. Jeez.
Lewis.
It's just so funny the stuff, but yeah, I've not heard a lot about. I saw that they put that on Disney Insider about the Night at the Museum reboot. So it was a cute movie.
What historical character would you guys want to see if they could pick anybody?
Walt Disney.
Oh, that's a good one.
Would you really want to see him in a movie? Like if people are already like having a tizzy over
that's true.
An animatronic.
What historical figure? That's a tough one.
Figure. Would Elvis be a historical figure? I mean, he's dead now.
I would
Elvis.
say so.
I'd say Elvis. It'd be like musical, like Elvis and Freddie Mercury and Michael Jackson and Prince all together.
Oh,
that'd be like a Night at the Rock Museum. That'd be freaking awesome. But
Tupac.
Oh, that'd be a good idea.
Tupac.
Entertainer said Tom Hanks could play him. Yeah, I just don't think we need him in such a silly movie, though.
Yeah.
Queen Elizabeth.
Paul Walker.
Damn, Louis. Damn.
I don't know if that's historical.
Okay, so Paul Walker last week. Vin Diesel announced that him and I've never even seen. Don't hate me. I've never seen any of the Fast and Furious movies except the Tokyo Drift one. It's the only one I've seen. So how are they going to bring Paul Walker back to the final? Like an AI and just like Walt?
It'll be probably some AI, like some CGI thing.
I heard his brother looks a lot like him.
Yeah, Brian, I believe.
Yeah,
his name is. Yeah, the Paul Walker thing. Speaking of tragedies, I mean that was such a tragedy. He was a really handsome dude, really way too young.
Yeah,
he had a little girl, I believe, as well. It's just such a tragic story what happened to him. I've only seen a handful of these Fast and Furious movies. They're fun for what they are, but they're not like there's not Citizen Kane or anything like that. They're not master. They're just fun, they're fun little.
There's 10 of them, so they obviously doing something right. So,
also, Tom Hanks had a birthday this week, guys. I totally
happy birthday to Woody.
Just remembered that because when I was doing my research this week, I was like, oh, he was born in Concord. I didn't know he was from Concord.
Right.
Really?
Yeah, he's from Concord. And then so I was on a call with a friend, and he goes, yeah, you know that his brother actually voices Woody in like the video games and stuff, right? Like when Tom Hanks can't do it, Tom Hanks' brother does the voices of Woody. I was like, oh.
Let's be honest. That's not that he can't just say he doesn't want to do it. I mean,
he
you can find time. You can find time to record some lines if you really want.
Yeah.
But let's be honest. He doesn't want to.
I think this is what we're gonna get is unseen footage because they were recording a movie during his passing.
Oh, okay. That's the right way to do it. That's
like
good.
A flashback or something.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. All right.
That's cool. That's good. That's reassuring.
I think this brings us. Go ahead, Sam. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, speaking of Courtney and Joey being on a cruise this week, Amanda and Kevin are going to be joining me and Kelly on Extra Magic Hour this week. So we will have party prices for the next holiday season because we're already, Halloween's already going.
I love the freaking flip the script from 4th to Halloween. Just like, okay, boom, here's Michael Myers. Let's go.
We've got Christmas information. We've got Christmas information this week. And on Imagine That, if you haven't been listening with the celebrations for Disneyland's birthday this upcoming week, we have been covering opening day Imagineers and talking about their style and how they got started with Disney, and then taking something that they worked on in the park and reimagining it more in their style, or taking something that they had no hands on and redoing it in their style. So
let me ask you this.
Episodes out.
Let me ask you this. Who you guys record every other Monday, what you'll be recording next Monday. Who are you doing next week?
Bob Gurr.
Right.
Oh.
So the funny thing about Bob Gurr, and I'm going to tie this into a few things, and we can end after this. We started. Bob Gurr is the best, and Sam,
a treasure.
Sam, we need that to happen. We're
Okay.
still on the. Okay, all right.
Don't put so much pressure on me.
Well, I'm going to say this. So Bob Gurr, a couple years ago, me and Lewis started a show. It was called Main Street View. Yeah, Main Street View. And it was our very first topic was about Bob Gurr. Then we scrapped that show and started Undisputed, which was our first show was about Bob Gurr versus Tony Baxter, who is the, who's better, blah, blah, blah. Then Imagine That was created from the mind of Lewis and Sam and Kevin and Amanda. So that kind of took over both those. Mad Tea Party was the third iteration of shows that we started with, that Lewis created and started with. And it's just, I find it funny that we're coming full circle now, that Lewis's last show that he'll be recording will be Imagine That on Monday, and it's about Bob Gurr. So I think it's to come full circle with Bob Gurr and Lewis's love for Bob Gurr, because Lewis has the most things to say about him. It's just funny how that came about that way, which hence is why at the end of the month I put a little teaser on Instagram today. It says the last party. We're gonna have our family game night on the 30th, and it'll be a thank you Lewis show, because Lewis has been part of this show for like 3.5 years and an integral part of this show. Everything you look at this show is because Lewis designed it, and we look at it, everything visual you see he did. So a huge part of the show. We're going to thank him the right way. The last on Wednesday the 30th, we're gonna kick it off, Mad Tea Party, and a goodbye to not a goodbye, just a see you real soon to our friend Louie. But I know he's pissed right now I'm doing this because he didn't want me to say anything. So he's gonna. But OG, I can't thank you enough for coming in.
Absolutely,
I appreciate you so much. Your show. There's two people that I subscribe to, that I actually subscribe and get that extra content. It's Mondo and just recently you guys. So
thank you very much.
You guys have if you guys don't listen to their show, don't watch your show, like you said, the topics are off. I mean, it's just always something. You can go in there every day and find a different show that they've recorded. They recorded about Disney adults just out of the blue a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
and
we did.
And like I said, if you're into this Avatar land and this Disneyland forward, there is no better home on YouTube than watching what they do. They deep dive it. Check out Citrico Central as well. Is it Central or Corner that I just fucked that up?
Central, Citrico Central.
Okay. Citrico Central, George. I'm sorry.
There it is.
Thank you. Okay.
There it is.
But
you made me think for a little bit. I'm like, wait a minute, is it Central? Yeah, it's Central.
Yeah, I'm like Corner because isn't there something called Citrico Corner in?
He has on my channel. He's got Citrico Corner, and then he's got his own channel, Citrico Central. So it's easy to kind of get them mixed up sometimes.
Check out both those shows. Where can they find you, my friend?
You can find, well, I want to thank you both for having me on. Always a good time. Definitely want to do it again very, very soon. You can find me on YouTube, Orange Grove 55. We're talking theme park, studio, all that good stuff. And even every now and then we even dip outside of the Disney thing. Like the most recent video, we reacted to a really great podcast called Above the Influence, and they were just talking about life and stuff like that. We're like messing up and getting back up and just constantly trying to do better. It was a really interesting video. So we did a reaction to that. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, you can find us on YouTube. You can also find me on Instagram, OrangeGrove55, and that's about it. But yeah, thank you both, and thank the audience for hanging out with us tonight. It was a good time.
Absolutely, Sam. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week with Kim from Getaway Today. I apologize, Kim from Getaway Today, talking all about the Walt Disney animatronic. Until next time, we hope you enjoyed the view from Walt's apartment. Good night, everyone.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land. Here age relives fond memories of the past, and here youth may savor the challenge and promise of the future. Disneyland is dedicated to the ideals, the dreams, and the hard facts that have created America, with the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world.